Hello everyone, welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Duncan DeAth and it's great to have you with us. Staff at Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital celebrate a Care Recipient's recovery by giving gifts at the end of the year. And we'll learn how to stay healthy during the winter when high cholesterol can be a problem for many people. And in New Zealand, volunteers organize a small gift distribution for seniors and homeless residents in the community. TIMA's Northern Chapter holds monthly free clinics for residents in the remote regions of Sanzhi and Shimen of New Taipei City. This month, the free clinic occurred on Christmas, bringing a festive atmosphere to the event. There were 6 teams this month, with one of the teams visiting the Liu family. Mr. Liu has been bedridden from a stroke for the past 10 years, but he's always delighted to have volunteers come visit.
Lying on the bed, Mr. Liu has been bedridden of a stroke 10 years ago. His vision is often the ceiling, but when Tzu Chi volunteers come visit, he's always emotional.
I see him every day. He's not full of emotions, but the last time you came, he was quite happy. He even smiled and cried.
Mrs. Liu also has 2 sick sons to take care of. This is why traditional Chinese medicine doctor Tzu Chi is concerned about her health as well.
He's been sick for so long and without the ability to communicate. So when we come to visit him, seeing his expression, it seems like he's enjoying our company. It makes his trip worthwhile.
This is a part of Tzu Chi's medical outreach for care recipients in Sanzhi and Shimen. Next, volunteers visit Mrs. Guo, who has to take care of her 2 grandchildren. Mrs. Guo's table is full of medicine that she doesn't know what to take for what. Thankfully, the volunteers and medical professionals are here to answer her questions. Helping Mrs. Guo know which medication to take and giving her older grandson a sports massage, volunteers and TIMA members help make sure these care recipients are taken care of on this holiday season.
Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital and TIMA's Northern Taiwan chapter came together to visit a care recipient, Li Shiwei. TIMA transferred him to Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital in April this year for his spinal infection. He was hospitalized for 4 months, but gradually recovered. For the 3 months after he was discharged, TIMA continued visiting and treating him. At the end of the year, TIMA and Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital offered him gifts and wished him all the best.
Enduring his knee pain, Li Shiwei came downstairs to welcome Tzu Chi volunteers and staff to his home. And this tiny home is now packed with 20 people. Staff from Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital and TIMA came to visit him with apples and other gifts to celebrate the Chinese New Year with his family. And his sisters have begun preparing traditional indigenous dishes for this occasion since yesterday.
Because Deputy Superintendent Xu and other volunteers came to visit Shiwei, we prepared these indigenous dishes to show our appreciation and to give them a surprise.
These indigenous dishes express their gratitude. Li Shiwei was once paralyzed due to a certain spinal cord infection. Then TIMA doctors referred him to Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital for treatment. Deputy Superintendent Xu Longyuan formed a cross-departmental team to treat his condition. Now his situation is improving.
In the hospital, the doctor told me to eat vegetarian meals, so after I was discharged, I eat vegetarian meals often and hardly eat meat.
Because he would have difficulty breathing when he walks, and his obesity is causing problems to his heart, and his knee joints and back would hurt. I will take him back, and our medical team will treat him on these chronic problems and make him better.
With a home to live, Li Shiwei also begins to offer help with everyone. Chen Yixiong is also a Tzu Chi Care recipient. Being an Army person, He and Li Shiwei have similar backgrounds and live close to each other. Volunteers often bring them together to Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital for treatment, so they have become good friends. With help from professional medical care and volunteers company, 40-year-old Li Shiwei has begun his new life. This is a model of complete medical care.
Next, we'll meet a doctor at Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital. Dr. Chen Li Guang is the director of the hospital's virology department. He's been researching bacteria for 19 years, ever since 1986. Currently, he is doing research into how to stop a new superbacteria that has been appearing in some parts of Taiwan. Let's hear more. In 2016, a super drug-resistant bacteria was discovered that was especially frightening. Environments like hospitals are especially at risk for cultivating this kind of bacteria. In the mountains of Hualien, at a small laboratory, scientists are developing ways of combating this bacteria.
它大概有1×10的24次方到26次方那么多。
To study the bacteria, the head of the Hualien Bacteria Research Facility, Dr. Chen Li Guang, went all over Hualien to collect samples of wastewater. He discovered from the superbacteria and the environment samples, the basic bacteria alongside mold and viral phages could create a dangerous combination.
When a patient comes to the hospital and comes into contact with it, it can be very serious. This is really important to consider for the sake of our patients. We have to keep the hospital environment clean so that these kinds of bacteria do not appear. Patients cannot stay in an environment with this bacteria present.
Dr. Chen is actually a veteran in fighting contagious diseases. In 2003, he was instrumental in keeping SARS outbreaks in Taiwan under control. At that time, with the public in a panic, labs in Taiwan had not prepared any countermeasures for the disease, so people who were diagnosed could only be isolated.
We received all the cases that occurred along the eastern seaboard. We had maybe 10 cases a day that were reported, some days as many as 20 or 30. That doesn't even include suspected cases. Sometimes a crowd of 10 or more cases would come in at once.
Because of such a serious outbreak, Dr. Chen, along with 3 colleagues and others at the CDC, were working around the clock with very little rest to try to stem the outbreak. Rigorous testing and a dedication to the work was absolutely necessary.
Just like the master says, when there is work to be done, it must be done. And we did it. It is the same with disaster relief. From start to finish, when you have a responsibility, you have to step up to the task.
Safeguarding the health of individual patients and society at large is the burden of medical professionals. For Dr. Chen, who has been studying viruses for over 19 years, this is more than just research. It is part of his duty to protect the people of Taiwan. In the winter months, people tend to eat more and stay inside, getting less exercise. This is natural. However, it is important to watch what you eat and how much you eat in order to avoid a rapid increase in your cholesterol levels. Next, we'll hear about the importance of keeping up a healthy diet and maintaining exercise in order to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease and other health issues. As people bundle up to face the dropping temperatures this winter, people should be aware that many diseases spring up in the colder months. A study from the Medical Research Center at the University of Massachusetts says that over 22% of adults will have an increased rate of cholesterol during the winter that surpasses the 200 milligrams per deciliter that is considered healthy.
In winter, people tend to eat more and exercise less, which has a negative effect because you need exercise to keep cholesterol down. So when we sit around eating more, we are putting on a layer of winter fat, which is natural for animals, but the lack of exercise makes it easier for our cholesterol to rise quickly.
To keep warm in winter, drinking warm soup is always a common food choice. But be careful that you are not consuming too many calories of fat with your soups, which may contribute to cholesterol.
When soups have a lot of braised or boiled meats in them, the stew will also tend to be saturated with grease. This will certainly contribute to higher cholesterol. When choosing soups in the winter, try to have soups that are light and not so greasy. The more vegetables in the soup, the better.
High cholesterol is also associated with high blood sugar as well as high blood pressure. People that don't exercise, those who are overweight, as well as smokers are all at high risk of contracting cardiovascular disease.
When you have so many factors increasing risk, then the chances are often very high that a person will develop cardiovascular disease. You can look at some people and say, he'll probably get heart disease in the next 10 years, or this person is likely to suffer a stroke. We can predict these things if 2 out of 3 factors are present.
Eating healthy healthy and doing regular exercise are the best ways to avoid cardiovascular disease. Doctors with the American Heart Association say that with every 1% reduction in cholesterol levels, the chances of suffering from cardiovascular disease are also reduced by 1% as well. Many people suffer from high cholesterol without knowing it, and there are often no noticeable symptoms. However, continuously high levels of cholesterol can be a serious risk factor for heart disease. It is best to get your cholesterol checked regularly, and if you do have high cholesterol, you should check with a physician about how to keep it under control. This is 45-year-old Miss Chun, who eats a vegetarian diet every day. For the past decade, she has kept her body healthy and her cholesterol low by avoiding meat entirely. Before she stopped eating meat, her body's cholesterol was well above the healthy rate of 200 milligrams per deciliter. Since her change in diet, she has been living a healthier and happier life.
My previous dietary habits was mostly meat and seafood. Then I started eating more vegetables. Originally, I didn't really like them, as I was doing it for my health when I discovered my cholesterol was too high. It was over 200 milligrams. So I had to make vegetables the center of my diet for 3 meals a day. Now my cholesterol averages around 140 to 150.
There are plenty of simple methods to reduce your cholesterol. First and foremost, avoid fried foods as much as you can. Try making whole grains, cereals, and unbleached rice the foundation of your diet instead of white rice and flour noodles. And of course, eat more fruits and vegetables to increase dietary fiber.
If you want to lower your cholesterol levels in your blood, then eat more food with water-soluble dietary fiber. This kind of fiber can better absorb the oil from greasy foods people may eat. Vegetables like mushroom offer lots of triglyceride, which are good for this.
Lots of people think that by simply avoiding large portions of meat and fish that they can reduce cholesterol. However, many often ignore the small snacks and desserts that they eat regularly. Many cakes and breads are actually very high in oils that increase cholesterol.
Some people eat a lot of fruits and vegetables but still have high cholesterol. Their problem lies in the snacks and pastries and things that people eat, which all contains trans fat and saturated fat. These two over time will contribute to visible weight gain and can change the body's metabolism.
Regardless whether you eat a lot or little, what is most important is what you are eating. Most people think that only heavily overweight people suffer from high cholesterol, but in fact, skinny people may also suffer from high cholesterol.
About 2/3 of the cholesterol in people's bodies is produced by their own body internally. Only about 1/3 of it comes from new food processing. So if your body forms fat deposits easily and you don't monitor your diet, your blood fat cholesterol level will likely be much higher.
Genetic traits can make some people more at risk of high cholesterol than others. For this reason, it is very important to keep a close eye on your cholesterol levels. Generally, a problem of high cholesterol can be corrected over 6 months with a change in diet and more exercise. However, if problems persist, it may be necessary to consult a physician, and some medications may also help reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. In September, Typhoon Meranti caused severe damage to many towns in Fujian, China. In addition to helping the victims clean up their community, Tzu Chi volunteers also went to 2 towns recently to hold winter aid distributions for 670 households, hoping they can overcome the poor harvests caused by the typhoon.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Quanzhou arrived early in Honglai town to prepare for a winter aid distribution.
We must say good words every day, then our families will be safe and sound.
In September, Typhoon Meranti caused severe damage to rice crops in Quanzhou, with Honglai and Jiudu towns suffering the worst harvest. On this day, 670 families came to pick up goods for the winter.
We feel much relieved and blessed today because Tzu Chi has given us so many goods. We're happy about it. We feel much relieved.
This is the first time that Tzu Chi has held a distribution in Nan'an, but many locals came to volunteer. Su Xiangda was once bedridden for 8 years due to spinal arthritis, but Tzu Chi volunteers helped him get treatment and therapies. Now he also came out to offer help to his townspeople.
Without help from everyone, especially from Tzu Chi, I wouldn't be standing here today and offering help to the public, so I'm very grateful. No words can describe my gratitude, so I can only express it with action.
Zhang Jiping also wants to help. He suffered from a stroke 1 month ago, but he came to volunteer after he recovered.
The time is running out. If we don't volunteer, we don't know when the impermanence will grab us or when our body can handle it. So if we can do it, we should come doing it.
Wang Heping helps people pick up rice. After Typhoon Merapi, he took part in cleaning up streets. When he knew he could volunteer in the winter aid distribution, he was too excited to sleep at night.
I normally go to bed early, but last night I was still quite awake at 10 p.m. I woke up at 2 this morning. I felt very excited and happy that I can come to give help today.
Volunteers offering and those abundant goods will bring warmth to townspeople of Nan'an to enjoy the new year.
For Christmas in the Southern Hemisphere, Tzu Chi volunteers in Auckland, New Zealand prepared goods to distribute to the homeless and the elderly to wish them all the best for the holidays.
Towels, cookies, and toiletry are all ready. People are fast in packing them. They prepare all these goods for the homeless.
winter distribution, 对不对？叫
不是 winter， 现在是 summer。
还是 summer。
Please don't blame him because he flew in from the northern hemisphere, so he is confused with the seasons.
I heard this was how Tzu Chi in New Zealand carried out the distribution, how they prepared to package the goods at the end of the year to help those who needed it. I was quite happy and came over here right away.
Thank you for giving us these packs. It means a lot to us. Not many of us have.
The goods distribution is a bonus to the regular bi-weekly hot meals for the homeless. The homeless always look forward to the hot meals every time. The volunteers this time are mostly people who have jobs. Some put on the vest and become chefs.
It's very hard for cooking for 100 people each time, but I've been enjoying this.
It only took up my little time that I could help so many people, so I will continue doing it.
Piano, Kukubi flute, and Tzu Chi songs. This is another wave of love during this visit to a nursing home. Most residents suffer from stroke, but the Christmas can make them feel the passion.
Merry Christmas,
Everyone's from different cultures, different backgrounds, and I think it's a really good thing. It's about caring and warmth and sharing and being with each other.
Otherwise, you sit at home. You look looked after by your wife.
Any year-end blessing ceremony held by Tzu Chi volunteers is always a big affair with lots of things to manage. We'll take a look at volunteers working diligently behind the scenes to make sure ceremonies run smoothly. But first, we take a look at a personal story of a Tzu Chi volunteer, Ji Huan, who gave up selling meat to gain merit for her son and husband's health. When her son passed away last year due to cirrhosis, it really took a toll on her. Thankfully, her husband and the companionship of her Tzu Chi Dharma family helped her overcome her sadness. This year, she shared her story with the audience at the year-end blessing ceremony.
那时候孩子死了，那天我真的哭很久，就先生都讲这个故事给我听，要做一个好的弟子，一定要听上人的话。我把眼泪擦干，我再坚持一直在做下去。
Leaving her sadness behind, Tzu Chi volunteer Ji Huan transformed her love for her child into a great love for society and became a volunteer. Seeing her mother and father transform their life around due to Tzu Chi's positive force, the eldest daughter also joined the year-end blessing ceremony as part of the suture adaptation.
When my brother was sick, a lot of Tzu Chi brothers and sisters were there to care for him. My dad, because of my brother, got to know Tzu Chi a bit more and became more involved in recycling. By doing so, my dad misses him less.
When you give of your love selflessly, you forget your own pain and sorrow. This type of love is really great.
Being able to give and forget their own sorrows, volunteers share ways to help others. Many local residents join together and gain more spiritual enlightenment. Prior to the commencement of the blessing ceremony in Yonghe that day, kitchen volunteers were already busy since 4 a.m., ensuring everyone eats a hearty breakfast. Unexpectedly, more people showed up than anticipated.
Thankfully, I moved some of the breakfast ingredients from Zhonghe to today. There aren't much difficulty being a kitchen volunteer. What we are most afraid of are leftovers and not enough to eat.
Ensuring people get enough nutrients, volunteers use only the freshest ingredients available this season. Among the volunteers is Huang Ruiqi, who's available to lend a hand wherever he is needed.
Chop the vegetables, wash the rice, put dishes in bento boxes. I'm doing it all as a kitchen volunteer. It's nice to see everyone working together.
As the Jingsu Hall in Shuanghe is located in a more busy section of the city, the logistic team have already mapped out a traffic flowchart prior to the event.
We began looking for people to help us 2 months ago. We started within our own team. When we had about 30 people, we began to confirm their schedule and make sure they can commit.
For these volunteers, shouldering responsibility during the year-end celebration is part of their path to cultivation.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Hualien's Tongmen community have come up with a stick and ball game made from recycled materials, which helps the seniors get their brains and bodies moving. Let's see how the game has been received by the seniors.
Each one holds a colorful stick made from cardboard and are scrambling for the ball. The two teams of elderly are trying to score more goals than the other team.
I had a good time. It was fun.
The sticks are made from rolled up cardboard boxes, which each senior has colored. This friendly and fun game was something the volunteers learned at the recycling station and brought to the Tongmen Community Center.
This activity helps their brain and body. During the game, the seniors concentrate on playing. They have fun and sweat a little. It's pretty wonderful.
A simple game made out of recycled items not only lets the seniors get some exercise, but also delays the onset of brain deterioration. In turn, their mood is lifted and their health is maintained.
In California, a special tea ceremony was recently held to celebrate the successes of Tzu Chi's medical mission in the United States, which has been in operation for over 20 years. We'll leave you with these images at the end of our program. Thank you for joining us, and goodbye.